Hi everyone, Kim here. It's Saturday afternoon. We're having a pretty quiet day here. The sun is shining. We're gonna celebrate Vova's first birthday party here in about an hour. He's turning 27. So that will be fun. He's doing so good. He's so happy. He just sings like, ah. He doesn't say any words, but he sings all the time. So happy. We're gonna have his first birthday party here in about an hour. Jed is in Ukraine. Like I said last time, we were waiting until May 9th to see kind of what would happen on Victory Day. Well, nothing really happened. So that night, Jed and our 16-year-old son Ezra left to go back to Ukraine just to check on things at home, to have several meetings in Kyiv and in Zhytomyr. And it's been quiet there while they've been there. They will come back, I don't know, sometime in the next couple of days, and they're actually going to bring Masha, one of our team members, back with them to help us, because there's not really a lot for her to do right now in the village, but we really could use her help. We're drowning, feels like just a little bit, because several people went back, several people went back to Ukraine last week, but only one of them was somebody who has a disability that requires care, and so it's just less hands, but we still have a lot of boys to take care of, and we are tired. Everyone is really tired, and this week we've been super short-handed, so it's awesome that Jed is bringing Masha back. She already knows the boys. She'll just be able to jump right in and help us. He's also bringing Katya back, which Katya is the wife of Ruslan, one of our team members who's in Ukraine, and she was with us actually for our first month here, and then she went back to Ukraine. And then Jed begged her to come back at least for another month here to help us, because she already knows, she's really good with cleaning and organizing, and she knows the building, and so help is on the way, and we're really happy because our friend Sarah, who has been with us for the last 2 months from Seattle, she's leaving on Wednesday, and she's been such a huge, enormous help to us. We're gonna feel her loss. We already feel her loss right now because she's in Ukraine with Jed, but she does so much to help us, and so thankful that even though she's leaving, more help is coming. Everything in Ukraine in the village at the homestead is fine. Jed said that it's fine there. And he said, when I'm at home and I'm just in the village and it's quiet, it's like, oh my gosh, why don't we just come home? Let's just come home. It's so hard here, and we could just be at home, and it's quiet, it's calm, but it's just the uncertainty of things could change any minute. And so if you would pray for us for wisdom about that, we just all want to go home so desperately. And when it's been quiet in our town for several weeks. Most of the destruction that happened, which there was quite a lot, happened while we were still in Ukraine. And then a little bit more after we left, but since then it's been mostly quiet, and it's hard to just be here knowing that everything at home is fine. I use that term very loosely. There's shortages in fuel, and there's air raid sirens, every single day, but in the village, you don't even hear it. So it's just really tempting to just pack everybody up and go home, but we really need to hear from the Lord on that. Because like I said before, once we get home, we're going to stay there. We're not going to pick up and leave again. So we really need to be sure. So pray for us in that. One of our our board asked us in a recent board meeting, what do we require? What kind of things need to be in place for us to be home? One of them was I want schools to be back in working order, which they're not. Preschool is, but not schools. And then I thought that a really good sign for me personally would be if the U.S. Embassy was back in Kyiv, because the U.S. Embassy, they leave at the first sign of danger, they're out of there. COVID, they left. They left the Kyiv Embassy way before the war even started. They left way before we did, and so I thought if they put their people back in Kyiv, that would be like a good sign. And they're back there now, but who knows? Everybody that I know is wrestling with this same decision of to go back or not. It's just that our group is so big and a little bit complicated, or a lot complicated, so we just need to know for sure. What else? Another reason that we really want to go back is because of, like, for our boys. I mean, we all, of course, really want to go, but I think that we forget how desperately our boys also want to go back. I mean, they're doing remarkably well, but like Ruslan, he talks about it all the time, that he doesn't want the war and he wants to go back to his apartment, and when are we going to go home? And, you know, Boris has been struggling for a while now. And actually, he was even struggling at home, and I think he just felt all of our tension and uncertainty. He is like a master reader of body language, and he hears more than we remember. Like, we don't remember that he's always listening, and I think he doesn't understand fully to the end, you know, of a topic, and so he understands bits and pieces just enough to be dangerous. And so I don't know. I mean, he's been struggling kind of since we came here, off and on. Like, he just has these screaming fits where he just is screaming, like out of control screaming. And, you know, it takes us like holding him down to calm him down. And then, like, but that was okay. But then, like, a couple days ago, he started hitting himself again. Which is like a nightmare for us. I don't know. I mean, if you're new to us, then I'll just tell you briefly that we took Boris out of the institution 4.5 years ago. And in the institution, he hit himself all the time. Like, he was always like restrained and tied up so that he wouldn't hurt himself. I mean, we're talking just like knuckles, like bone to bone, hurting himself, bleeding, bruises. His face is like deformed from constant self-harm for so many years. And then the first 2 years, I don't know, that he was at our house, it's the same. We put these like pediatric arm restraints on him so that he could still do things, but he couldn't. He'd have to work really hard, which he would, to break them actually, and like hit himself in the head. And it was his habit, it was his way of communicating, it was his way of processing his emotion, happiness, sadness, frustration, anger. It was all expressed through just hitting himself in the head. And if he couldn't do that, he would scratch himself till he bled. And it really ruled his life, our life. And so 2 years ago, we started him off in some medication, some risperidone. I had read online that it has helped some people with that are on the autism spectrum with self-harming. And so we tried it, and he's totally stopped hitting himself and hurting himself, but he had like zero emotions. So he wasn't happy or sad. He wasn't angry or joyful. He was just like a vegetable who's just like he didn't make any of his sounds, which Bmo was a very noisy person. He makes a lot of sounds. He didn't laugh. Very rarely would he smile even. But for us, it was like, we missed him, but it was worth it because we were keeping him safe. And he had gotten so bad with his self-harming that we were desperate just for him to be safe. But after, so not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before, we were in the States and we brought Bmo with us. And a couple times we were traveling a lot and we forgot to give him his meds, and he was fine. And so we thought, you know, maybe it's time to give this a try. So last January, 2021, 2021, we took Bmo off meds, and until this past week, so a year and some months, he was himself. He was happy, vocal. I mean, sometimes not happy, but he never hit himself. He would like, like that's his sound he would make, or you could see that he was unhappy, but he never resorted to hitting himself until this past week. I was like, what are you doing? Like, no, you used to do that. You don't do that anymore. And I mean, it's totally communication. And it even can be manipulation. Like, he would look at me while he's like slapping himself in the face. Like, look what I'm doing. give me what I want, which we can't go down that road. And nothing would calm him, and he started to not be safe again. And so I had to start him back on the medication. And I've cried a lot of tears over the last few days about that, because it just feels like, he's not using the toilet hardly at all anymore, which right before the war started, he was staying dry all day. And we thought, like, we don't have to put him in diapers anymore. Like, he's going to the bathroom so good. And now he's not using the toilet, and now he's hitting himself. It's just, I can't express to you how discouraging it is, because we've worked so hard, and he's worked so hard, and he's grown so much, and I know what he's capable of. And I was talking to Hava about it, and she just started crying. Hava, our 13-year-old, just like, why is he doing that? And she said, I've been so caught up in my own, Hava said this, I've been so caught up in my own pain and my own sadness that I forgot that the boys are sad, and that they have pain in their hearts, and that they want to go home too. Which we are their safety. We are their security, the people, but they don't understand what's going on fully. And I think it's been hard on all of them that all of these people, I don't know, like 8 people from our group left this week, and they heard us all talking about how they're going home, and they saw them with suitcases. And I think, Vanya, our Jana and Vanya, his cousin left, who he loves, and he just keeps looking for him and crying, and he can't tell us, like, I want to go home too. And we can tell him, like, Timofey went home, but we can't say when we'll get to join him. And it's just, with people, like, it's hard enough for all of us who fully understand, but for people who don't fully understand, it's so painful for everybody. So yeah, pray for Bmo. It's just so disheartening. We need to go home. We have to go home. We have to get our boys home. What else? I guess that's about it. Everything otherwise is fine here. We're just doing our thing every day. Groundhog Day. If you are awake at 8 p.m. Germany time, I don't know what that is for you, wherever you are in the world, you should watch Eurovision. It's the finale tonight, and Ukraine is in the finals, and you need to watch it. You need to vote for Ukraine, because if they win, then Ukraine will host Eurovision next year. But I just think if Ukraine won tonight, it would just be an amazing thing. Our whole group, we're all planning to watch it. We're all going to vote. Kalush, the band from Ukraine, they're amazing, and they deserve to win. Not just because they're Ukrainian, but because they're awesome. And because they're Ukrainian. Anyway, so yeah, pray for this all to end. Sometimes I can't even still believe that this is happening. Like, I look at every day, my phone shows me a memory from last year, and I'm just like, we had no idea. We had no idea. Even like when we celebrated Thanksgiving, wasn't that long ago, we had no idea. So much pain and suffering, and I hope it ends soon. So thank you for praying for us and for loving us, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Вова щасливий? Да? We do belong.